Priefert family has been in business for over 60 years, the #1 name in ranch and rodeo equipment due to their commitment to the industry, quality equipment, and family values. Let's meet the people behind it all.
Very proud of seeing an industry rely on us.
I think our best ideas and our best programs come from a place of passion.
It's something to say when you've been working here nearly all your life, and if we have anybody that can stand to be with us for 2 years, we'll have them forever.
Bill, we're here in the Priefert offices. Just take us back to the beginning. You're more than just a business. You guys are a family that has been in this for generations. So kind of walk me through that and from the start to where we are today.
Well, the family started in Belvedere, Nebraska, southern Nebraska, in the 1870s, came from Germany. And so all of our roots are there. My dad became kind of the leader of that family. Told his brothers, he had 4 brothers at home that could work. You can't get any broker than this. There they were in the hills, southern hills in Nebraska. He started farming with his 3 brothers from 45 till 61. They grew from owning no land to farming about 2,000 acres. So Dad wanted to get out of the cold weather. He bought an orange grove in the Rio Grande Valley down at McAllen, 1,200 miles south of Belvedere, Nebraska, and froze out 10 days after he bought it. So we were there for 8 months, learning that the trees were sure enough dead. His philosophy in farming was don't own anything that eats. And after that grove froze, he decided he wanted to raise cattle. So we got to northeast Texas, Mount Pleasant, raising cattle, going broke again. We had a neighbor brought home a steel headgate. We were using planks. That's what everybody was using. 2 planks hinged at the bottom and ropes to pull them together. Dad saw this headgate that the neighbor bought and said, oh no, because it was a guillotine type. It was hard to get their head in the hole. It'd take way over half a day to work 25 head. Dad said, don't put that up, I will build you a good one. So he went to his shop on the farm and pulled some pipe and stuff out of the junkyard behind the shop. He could see, he could design in his head, but he didn't have any drawings. He pulled the pipe out, he built that headgate right there. This is the headgate, the first one he built. Here is the concept that started our company. Put Dad ahead of everyone else in the business. Open it up, it's wide as a barn door. The cow comes in, you catch her neck, it locks, you doctor the cow, you release that cow, she goes out the front, the next cow follows her right in. Go from 25 and a half a day to 200 a day. First time I'd ever heard of a headgate, but that's the day this company started. Headgates sold like popcorn. We shipped them all over America in the 60s, 70s, and still to today.
We're somewhere between 35 and 40 acres under roof. Roughly 200 acres that we manufacture on total in land. We have rail spur that comes in, brings the master coils of steel inside the building. And then today we're building another rail spur for the other side of the tracks, which is roughly 125 acres on the other side. It's a new rail spur that goes in there for 30 cars a day. Today we do 10 rail cars per day. That one has the capacity to do 30 rail cars per day for master.
Well, I think that's also an interesting thing to your guys' story and everything that you build here. You understand what the farmer, the rancher, and the cowboy needs.
Absolutely, because we live it every day. We live it every day. So we're in the middle of it, we're in the market, we understand the market. And it all started basically with a headgate, like my dad said, with a headgate and that market. You grow into another market, you start expanding your market and what you're building and your products you're building. And as you keep going on, there's opportunities, right? So, you know, it was in the 90s before we built a rope and chute. We were just in ranching. So you got cattle, you're building hay feeders, you're doing all that type of stuff. And then as I got older, my brothers got older, my cousins got older, they got into high school rodeo. My uncle had a headgate that you saw on the front of an alleyway, and he was operating that for a rope and shoot for his son to learn to rope in. Well, my dad's out there and he goes, hey, we should probably build something a little better than that. Let's figure that out. So my dad went out and they built that type of rope and shoot. And then they started looking at, hey, we can make it a little easier here. You can make it a little easier here. And then as time grew, we started saying, well, why does anybody have to stand up on top? Why can't they stand on the side, hit the button, and everybody operate it in one spot? And so we built that rope and shoot. You use that mindset when you're working cattle or you're in rodeo. How do we make everything and time flow quicker, faster for the rodeo, for the team ropers, for the guys that are producing the rodeo, so all that kind of comes hand in hand. But we're never going to be arrogant to believe we know everything. We're always listening to the customers and what they need. And I think when I started, there was 70 employees, roughly, 100,000 square feet or so. Today we're 1,000 employees, and all I can say is it's nothing that we've done on our own. The Lord's blessed us, and we recognize the potentials and capitalize on the potentials in the markets that are out there. Yeah. And we just keep growing, and just doing things right and treating people right is basically the key. They're always going to buy from you if you're fair. So you got a robot weld cell, but there's 4 weld cells. They're building utility panels and premier panels, 2 of our largest product lines and largest volume product lines that we build, and they very, very efficient machines.
There's just so many, like look at everything.
There's a lot of steel out here, a lot of automation. You know, a lot of these, like this whole bay right here is an ASRS, stands for Automatic Storage and Retrieval System. So there's no forklift aisles. There's a computer on this end. There is there's a bridge crane that's inside there that's all automated. It goes in and picks up the rack and brings it out to the end. So we're trying to utilize as much space as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
My grandfather just fell in love with the area. He just coming through, fell in love with the green grass, the spring water. My grandmother, my dad, somebody told me at one time or another, they were actually living in a station wagon. They were looking for a place to live. They were camping out in the park. As they were, my grandfather had a little bit of money. They'd sold out down in McAllen, Texas. They're camping out. They don't have the money for a hotel room, so they're camping out in the park. And they go to a coffee shop in town, and the people were so nice. Somebody there asked what you're doing. They said, we're looking for a place to live and a place to buy. And they said, hey, we got a spot. Let's show it to you. And they showed them, yep. That's the way I heard it. I don't know how true it is. This is the master coils. So you've got master coils of steel. These are roughly the size of a round bale of hay, 60,000 pounds, 30 tons. They actually come inside the building, and we unload with a bridge crane. We will unload 10 rail cars per day of steel, 200 rail cars per month. That basically equates to about 800 truckloads of steel that come into the building. And then it's processed from this point, and we either make it into sheet, flat steel that goes to the lasers to cut out parts that will get broke later. It will be cut into, slit into widths that may be broke channel or broke angle iron or different sizes, or it could be cut to the width of the circumference of a tube that we run through the tube mills and make tubing for panels, gates, or other industries outside of ranching. Up to 2008, we were primarily ranch equipment. It was all in the ranch equipment side of the business. 2008, the economy took a hit. When it took a hit, we went from 600 employees down to about 300 employees nearly overnight. Everything just turned off. Well, at the same time, we're looking and going, okay, what are we going to do now? We've got to keep jobs going. We've got to keep people moving. We've got to keep things working. We've got to keep growing, because our growth patterns are always 20% per year. We said, you know what are we going to do? Well, we have tube mills, we have slitters, we have lasers that are all doing ranch equipment, but we start talking to other folks in our markets of Mount Pleasant, Texas, Big Tex trailers, CM truck beds. You start talking to other companies that inside the Mount Pleasant area, say, hey, would you like to buy some tubing? Would you like to buy some sheet steel? Would you like to just buy some processed parts? We have lasers, we can cut these parts out for you. They said, sure. So as we did all of that, we started growing that side of the business. Today, from 2008 to 25, we are 2/3 of our overall business in dollars is in process steel for other manufacturers. 1/3 of our business is ranch equipment. Now, when it comes down to it in tons of steel is 4 times. The steel processing side of the business is 4 times the size of ranch equipment. This machine behind us is called a slitter. That is slitting the master coil. You put it on an arbor, you roll it out in the sheet. It's got blades in it, and the blades are actually slicing it into the width of the circumference of the tube. Right now they're doing tubing, so this is tubing. This was one big master coil at one time. Now it's split down to the width. And they're running somewhere around 350 foot a minute. So that master coil will run out in about 12, 13 minutes, and then they start over again and put another master coil on there. This right here, the machine that you see here is a blanking line. The blanking line is basically rolling off that sheet. It's already been slit to the right width. Now it's gonna run it out, and it's actually taking all the camber out of it, and it's making it perfectly level and flat, and it's blanking it out into one big sheet, and then it's stacked in one sheet, but then they stack them on top of each other, and then that will be used, most likely, that is a CM truck bed that will be put to the laser and all the parts cut out for CM. Just in ranch equipment, we have somewhere around 800 product lines, 900 product lines, and then in the steel side of the business, there's thousands. I couldn't even give you a good number, literally thousands of parts and pieces that are going to another manufacturer to be assembled.
For nearly 100 years, Resistol has crafted more than hats. They've shaped a legacy. From father to son, mother to daughter, these cowboy hats carry something deeper. A legacy built on hard work, trust, and knowing what really matters. Every Resistol hat carries forward what generations have known: the value of integrity, the strength of family, and the wisdom that comes from working this land. Because a true cowboy hat isn't just worn, it's earned.
All the good times that come from more me time. All the wonder of what the night could bring. All the energy to turn your world around. It's all here, where simply walking in feels like a win. Get away to it all at Choctaw Casino and Resort Durant.
You know, the goal has always been to affect an industry, and I always say we affect an industry organically from the inside out. You know, we're blessed to have a manufacturing facility that sits on a ranch. That ranch has cows, horses, we have a rope and pen. I have the coolest R&D facility ever. So everybody here is kind of like me. We've been around the animals. We've had the mess on our boots, okay? When I was hired, we were already implementing CAD, and it was kind of a secret sauce that nobody knew about, but we did a lot of design work. Say the cattle working system. The guy needs a cattle working system for 80 head, and he wants to use this one existing fence, and he wants this big oak tree and this pen for shade, right? So he sends that to us on the backside of a bar napkin, and then we would design it so that we utilize his existing assets, his existing shade, and put a cattle working system around that. So we did that as a service. We didn't advertise it, we didn't really promote it. And then over the years, we really kind of got into a consulting aspect of more customers like that. If you need help with that situation, let us help you with it. We're not custom designing product, we're just custom configuring the layout so that it maximizes things you already have, which is wonderful. The rodeo side of the business is where CAD is, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. When we do the NFR in Vegas, we have to utilize every square inch of the Thomas and Mack Arena. The scariest CAD drawing was NFR 2020. When, if y'all remember how it played out, there's an announcement, right? We're gonna have the NFR and it's gonna be in Texas. We can't do it in Nevada, so we're gonna do it in Texas. Me and Brian are on the baseball field the next day in Arlington. That was amazing to walk onto the baseball field, and then intimidating of, we gotta pull this off in a short timeline. And then the next day, Brian is in his office, and it was about 14 hours of CAD drawing later, we nailed it. Pulling off the first NFR on the baseball field, that NFR in Texas, back pins in the outfield, 12 bucking chutes, not 7, and then making sure that all the animals were where they needed to be so that we could run the thing on time for TV. Absolutely amazing what happened in a short period of time. And you got to go back to what was going on in 2020. Demand for all of our products was through the roof. It was unprecedented demand. And now all of a sudden we got this gift from the gods that we are going to have the NFR, but it's going to be in Texas. We're going to pull this off, and it won't be no, everybody's going to be so excited we're having it. It'll be no problem. It was a problem for us. Those bucking chutes didn't exist. We had a set of 4 and a set of 3 in Vegas, but there was no set of 6 and 6 in Texas. And what happened over the 60-day period was absolutely phenomenal. To get it made, to get it there, to get it set up. And the first time I sat down in Globe Life and I looked down at it, it was really, really awesome. Very proud of seeing an industry rely on us. We take care of their problems, and there's a responsibility that goes with that, of making sure that everybody's safe and all the animals are taken care of. You can't take that too lightly. I think in a lot of ways we've just begun. A lot of people realize that we're a ranch and rodeo company. At our core, we're a steel company.
A U.S. product made here in the U.S., state of Texas. Does that mean something to you?
It does. It absolutely means something to me, but what is really, really cool that's happening right now is everyone in the United States is thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I like. Because we've been doing it for years, right? Manufacturing has left the United States over the last 50 years. Our product lines in ranch equipment cannot be built overseas. And the reason it can't be built overseas is because it's a commodity type of product. Not completely, but to a certain point it's a commodity type of product that has a lot of air. So when you put a whole truckload together, all the panel rails, all the gate rails, you have a lot of air. So you can't hardly build it overseas because you end up cubing out before you weight out. So the value is not there based on the amount of freight it takes to get here. I say we're blessed by that, right? Because now what we learned on the ranch equipment side, now we're putting those same principles in everything else. See, these are lasers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lasers in place right now. A laser table and tables. ASRS system behind, that's an automatic storage and retrieval system. That ASRS system is basically just like what you see in a hotel or anything else when you have the Coke machine, you hit the button and it goes up, picks it up, and then brings it back.
That's what it's doing here.
Same thing here. So there's people in these offices back here that are nesting different sheet plates. There's sheet that's going through these, and they're nesting out the parts and pieces that are in the flat, and they're nesting it into a perfect scenario to where you get every available bit of steel out of that sheet. That machine goes and gets the sheet out of that ASRS system and brings it into the table and runs it into here. It cuts it all out and then conveys the finished part out to this guy, and he puts it onto the table and then it's packed. So there's literally thousands upon thousands of parts we're cutting for other manufacturers and ourselves, and we're adding to it. So there's a new ASRS system, part of it going in back here, and another laser back here, and there's 5 machines in here, and we're almost at full capacity.
I was gonna say, are they running most of the day or whenever?
3 shifts a day.
Wow.
6 days a week.
Yeah.
These are finished parts packages. These are the trucks that are being loaded that's here. So each one of these trucks, this is all steel. And about 20 truckloads a day get loaded out of here that goes on these trucks, and they might have 3 drops on it. They may be going to Medill, Oklahoma and dropping off three different places on the way to Medill, Oklahoma, and then coming back, circling back, maybe picking up another truck and headed back out again.
So there's obviously a lot of moving parts that make all of this happen, not just the ranching side, but everything else that you guys do. But let's go catch up with your dad and hear more about the family aspect to this. Priefert family, it's not, like I said, just a business. You guys are a family behind the business, and you've had employees with you guys that are much like family for years and years. You guys, father, son, obviously passed down generations before you, hopefully to pass it on to next generations. Yeah. Go into what that means.
Oh, yeah, it means everything, right? You know, I mean, why else are you here? Yeah, and it's something to say when you've been working here nearly all your life, and then you have a passion for the growth and then building something to be able to pass on.
And all the employees, talk about just their longevity with you guys as a company, and everything they've attributed to your guys' success.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, when it comes down, well, we have employees. There's several employees that are if they're not, there's 1 or 2 that are at 50 years now. And I'm 50 years old. They started. They might be 52 years. They might have been here before I was born, but there's close to 20 guys that have been with us 40 plus years.
Wow.
Probably, and and then even more at the 30-year mark, and even more than that at the 20-year mark. We always say, you know, if we have anybody that can stand to be with us for 2 years, we'll have them forever.
When we do a lot of tours through here, I tell people how rare this place is, and that's a shame. Every company should work like this one does. And I'm not saying we're perfect. We have our bad days, we have our woes, we have our challenges. But at the end of the day, we know we have a family who's very passionate about an industry, who's very passionate about its employees. And as long as we can keep focused and pointed in a direction, individuals will be better, groups will be better, our company will be better, our industry will be better. And it all kind of starts at the top. That's a special family, and this is a special place because of it. And we work in a special industry. It kind of all comes together.
I think the biggest lesson I've learned about business from Priefert, my time here, the family and the people that I get to work with, is that there's always a way. Right? There's always a way to solve the problem. There's always a way to make something work. And the way usually involves what's right. Maybe not what on paper looks like the best business decision, but if you put the people first, you put integrity first, you put others first, solving the problem suddenly becomes secondary to just doing the right thing.
I think people see this, but I don't know if they necessarily know it. But integrity is a soundbite for most companies. There's a pretty good responsibility here of what do you do when nobody's watching. It's not a matter of what could you get away with when nobody's watching. The short answer of doing the right thing for good reasons is it's not really challenged here. There's only one degree of right. Multiple degrees of wrong. There's really only one degree of right. And that's a big deal here. And again, I hate that that's rare from an industry standpoint, but too many companies kind of, I think, struggle with that. That doesn't even hit our top 10 list. That's an easy part of what happens here on a day-to-day.
I think our best ideas and our best programs come from a place of passion. So whether that's stuff we're doing in the rodeo industry, like our youth program, where we really want to pour into today's youth because they're going to be tomorrow's leaders, or if it's, you know, getting lucky and knowing the right people, and because we put a headgate in Jurassic World, we ended up on Yellowstone because the same crew was working on both. I think it's just seeing the opportunities and being nimble enough to take advantage and maybe not getting too caught up in here's a 3-step plan and I'm going to follow step 1, 2, 3. It's just, I think, catching the right opportunity, building the right relationships, and then again having a great team that when you say, okay guys, here's this crazy thing that happened last night, let's take advantage of it, they can all dive in and make it work.
Being a family-owned company has really established who we are as a company. On the other duties assigned that I do on top of the quality, I'm also a tour guide, and that is a big thing that I do when and establish and let the people know whenever they come here how the family being so involved with the company in itself has really changed it. We take it for granted because we see it every day. It's nothing for us to see Mr. Bill, Eddie, Nate, Travis, or even their sons and grandsons out here on the floor. But you know, you go to other companies and the owners are not as involved as these guys. I mean, it's a daily thing for them to come in and ask you, what are you doing today? What's going on?
I've been at Priefert Manufacturing for 30 years. They're not going to build something they wouldn't put their grandkids in front of. That's our motto. It's safe. Safe on the cow, safe on the cowboy, right? If you wouldn't put your kid around it, then we're not going to build it.
Off of that too, you mentioned you guys ended up here just in Mount Pleasant, Texas because the good Lord put it on your father's heart. Go into how faith has really just been the backbone of your guys' family and your business.
Well, 20 years after I got out of college, and I found this article and it showed that 50% of the beef calves born in America were born in a kind of a rectangle. Mount Pleasant, Texas was dead center. 400 up to Missouri, down to Corpus, 200 miles west, 200 miles east, over 50% of the beef calves in America. So God put us right here to do exactly what we're doing.
You wouldn't be in business if it weren't for the people that trusted you guys as a family and trusted the products you put out there. Talk about that a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, everything, Dad's taught me this. Dad's taught, and Grandpa taught him, but everything has to be designed around a 14-year-old little girl to be able to operate. And if they can operate it, they're going to be satisfied. Anybody else will be satisfied with it all. And everything is designed around that and is designed by our family, using it first. Safety is foremost. I mean, when it comes down to it, safety is the first thing that it comes down to. Safety for the animal, but first and foremost, safety for the operator. And then, so you build the safety into the aspects, and then the efficiency into the aspects, all of those things. Then you come up with what we've designed today, which is a pretty good product that we're always still trying to improve.
The most important asset of any person is reputation. And it takes a lifetime to build it, and you can lose it in a minute.
Well, and I would say a lot of your customers would say Priefert obviously has a great reputation with their product, but you do as a family. And so for anybody who's getting to see this and watching and getting to know you guys a little bit better outside of what you guys produce, what would you want them to know about the Priefert family?
We love each other, first and foremost, and we love our employees, and the employees are family.